So these slides that I prepared, most of the material you will find in Canvas book, and some material you will find in second edition of the 10 book. And the slides were also available on my home page, but here I have added few more slides. So they are updated or up-to-date slides. So I will keep them and later you can download. Okay. So basically in this chapter, we will try to understand the data. So various aspects of data, the attributes by which we say data is composed or data is described, and different types of attribute by which data is composed or data is made up of. So here we shall discuss details about data, what is data, the attributes, what kind of different attributes by which data is composed of, okay, and other related issues of data, because data has become very important now. If we have good understanding of data, we can have how the data can be analyzed, what are the valid operations, okay. So several such things are relevant today in today's scenario. So here something is written. We want to know about the following. What are the types of attributes or fields that make up our data? What kind of values each attribute can have? Which attributes are discrete and which attributes are continuous? What do the data look like? If we try to visualize data or in visual mode, what are the possibilities by which we can represent it? How are the values distributed? If we have a set of values, okay, and the values of one data set, and if we have to study, so whether the data is following any pattern or distribution pattern. So several kind of such studies have been carried out. So distribution of data is also very important, because once you are aware that the way data is changing or varying or distributed, some kind of prediction is possible, or some kind of verification can also be done. Are there ways by which data could be visualized to have better sense of it? Can we spot any outliers? Okay, suppose there is a data collected and it is expected that it is not satisfying so and so. So by making some kind of analysis, it may not following the pattern and it may be treated as outlier. So this is also one way. If we have a study of data, then it is possible to detect the outliers, etc. Can we measure the similarity? Suppose we have two objects and we want to compare them, whether both are similar, and if similar, then how much they are similar. Okay. And similarly, we can also have definition of dissimilarity. So those things have to be described in terms of quantity. So quantitative measures can be performed to know whether the objects are similar, and if they are, then how much and how much they are dissimilar also. So measurement is one also issue. It is everywhere in data analysis. Okay. Having such insights into data will help us in subsequent analysis. steps of data mining. In short, if we say that what is one single objective of this chapter, so only one objective is that high quality understanding or to have some insights for understanding data. Okay, by just observation, we are able to make some kind of conclusion. So the definition of data needs to be understood with several perspectives. Okay, suppose when we say one object we want to understand, so from different dimensions we try to visualize, we try to, so for complete understanding, one would argue that we should go for all the possible dimensions of understanding. So we will discuss in this chapter data object, attributes of different attributes, and some statistical description of data, data visualization, and measuring similarity and dissimilarity. Here some terms are written, different types of data sets. So several types of data, we have one category, record-based data. Other kind can be graph-based data, order data, spatial, image data, multimedia data, and many definitions we have discussed in first chapter. But here our objective is we try to understand the data with respect to their attributes. Okay, so variety of attributes need to be understood here also. We will see. So in record-based data, we have relational data or relational records, then data matrix. We can have numerical matrix and cross-tab. And document data, it can be text document, and term frequency vector is one example. Then transaction data. So here you see on top right, one cross tab is shown. Basically, it is a matrix. Okay, rows and column we have. So on row side we have gender variable or gender attribute we can also say, and here on column side we have do you drink alcohol. This is one question, and the values are answer yes no. So we have this 2 by 2 matrix 13, 33, 13 and 32. At this last row and last column we have total values. Okay, so if somebody asks how many males are total, so this 46 number you can retrieve. So this 13 plus 33. Similarly, column by sum is also shown here. So last row and last column basically they refer only the sum, and they refer to individual values on the variable gender and the variable written here due to column. So this is also one way, and a few more examples I have shown in next few slides. Then document data. This is one example. Text data, basically they are documents. Each document has text. So one way of representation of document is shown here. It is document 1, document 2, document 3, document 1, and here the words are written. Here team, coach, play, etc. Okay. So how many times the word team is appearing in document 1? It is written 3. Okay. Similarly, coach. Okay, so depending on the frequency of word, okay, the values have been inserted here. So if somebody asks whether the document belongs to scientific document or document belongs to a sports document, so it is possible to identify the nature of document based on the term frequency, the occurrence of relevant words, so and so time, so and so number of times. Other example, graph data. So social networking data or social network, basically it is represented by graph. So several such examples in real life we have, they can be directly mapped in form of graph, and then we can apply the operation. So here web, then social and information network, and molecular structure. We have ordered. So in order data, one specific order is necessary. Okay, one object will appear only after so and so object, and we can have video. There's a sequence of images. Okay, similarly, time series data. It is also which part will appear first and which later. So it defines the order. A transaction sequence can also be ordered. Genetic sequence data. Other example is spatial, image and multimedia data. So in record-based, one more transaction data can also be one example here. Transaction data, we have transaction ID and the item written here. Okay. So now we have data matrix. When we define object by attribute, so we can arrange each object as one row of the matrix, and each column defines the attribute value. So the arrangement becomes a matrix, and this matrix now has ability that it has description of several objects, row by row. Now, if we try to visualize this set of objects in terms of image, so one multi-dimensional representation may be possible. Suppose here in table we have 5 columns. Instead of 5 columns, if I say we have only first 3 columns, and I say that represent this these two objects in 3-dimensional space. So based on the values on x-axis, y-axis, and z-axis, you can locate a point. So this is one object. Similarly, other object can be presented. If we have only 2 columns, then it is easy to do on XY graph. But if we have more than 3 columns, 3 attributes, so we have to imagine now. There is a space that has several dimensions, multi-dimensions. And based on your imagination, you have to think that the object can be one point. So all the objects can have their existence in multi-dimensional space point-wise. It is also written here. If data objects have the same fixed set of numeric attributes, then the data object can be thought of as points in multi-dimensional space where each dimension represents a distinct attribute. Right? Such data set can be represented by an M by N matrix where there are M rows, one for each object, and N columns, one for each attribute. So this is one way. The record-based representation, basically we can map in 3-dimensional and not multi-dimensional space point-wise. This is another example of crosstab. So in crosstab we have one more definition, that is square. Just like rows and columns are equal, then we say square. Okay. And the dimension of the crosstab refers to the number of rows and number of columns in table. The total row and column are not included. The table dimension are reported R by C, where R is the number of categories for the row variable and C the number of categories for the column variable. Additionally, a square crosstab is one in which the row and column variables have the same number of categories. So we can have 2 by 2, 3 by 3, 4 by 4. We also have crosstab word in newspaper. Earlier, I remember that some English improving for vocabulary of word from crosstab regularly appear in newspaper, and one can test his vocabulary. So that is also one example of crosstab. And here we have this is what we have already discussed in previous slide. So data matrix, it is appearing again, I think. Oh, this is graph data. So just to show you, the web data can be represented, or web can be represented in form of this graph. Generic graph or molecule and web pages. Okay. Data objects. Now, object, well-defined thing, we say object. Okay, it can be conceptual, it can be physical. So data object means we simply say objects we are describing as data. Okay, data object means they are the basically objects, but qualified by this word data, we are considering defining as data. So data object. So data sets are made up of data objects. Right? So our data object represent an entity. I say one object, one entity, one thing. Okay. In general, I can say one data. And better to say data object. So when we say data object, that means I am referring to one entity. So examples here, sales database can have customer, store item, sales. They are the data objects in sales data. So in medical database, we can have patient, and they are the data object. So university student is one data object, professor. Okay. You have also studied these as entity set. So same thing, but in different domain, we have somewhat different way of understanding and some different terminology we use. So entity object, same thing. Here, data is also being used here. Now, we also have the terminology for the same thing, data and object and entity. Samples, examples, instances, data points, objects, and tuples. Tuples we use in the database, object, data point. So all these words basically refer to the same thing, data object. So sometimes don't be confused by just these words. They basically refer to the same thing. So data objects are described by attribute. So data row, data object, and column attribute. Now we have different kinds of attribute by which data objects are defined. So now attribute, we also have different terms, also known as dimension, features, variable in different domain. So it is a field representing characteristic of feature of data object. If you first go to the real world, in real world we have objects, and each object has some properties. And by using those properties, objects are defined. And the properties or characteristics that we use in the real world, basically in compute this database, we have the term attribute. So attribute is terminology used in database, but it is the same meaning as properties and characteristics. Similarly, In different dimensions, we also have features, features of some object, feature of some person, like that. Dimension is also one way. Okay? So variable, so all these will be used. Now customer ID, name, address. Now we have different types of attribute, nominal, binary, etc. and numeric. So we will discuss one by one. This is one picture. Basically, we are going to discuss only this picture. Later on, we will come back. Then it will be easy to understand. Right now, it may be appearing somewhat difficult. Once we have discussion on other subsequent slides, then we will come back to this picture, and it will be easy to connect. Okay, but right now I am just showing to you. Here something is written: variables, characteristic of data, nominal, ordinal, interval scale, and ratio scale. Here it is written qualitative, non-metric data. Here it is written quantitative, metric data. Okay. Now nominal attributes. Nominal attributes. Nominal means naming. Okay. When we assign some name, so we say the attribute is nominal. For example, name of the student, okay, and the name of anything. So basically, when I say hair color, it is what kind of attribute? If I say it is nominal, that means I am using few words to describe its feature, and the words are simply like here, or one, black, blonde, brown, gray, red, white. They are names of color. Okay, they are simply names of the color. And here I am saying they are the different kinds of color of the hair. So basically they are just simply named. They do not have any kind of other ability. If I interchange, instead of writing black here, I can write here at first. Okay, even then the meaning is same. Similarly, marital status: single, married, divorced. Occupation: teacher, dentist, programmer. So they are basically names of the things, right? So such kind of attribute or such kind of variable we say as nominal attribute. So here order of values has no meaning. We can write in any order. Single, married. I can also write here married first, and single. So it does not affect. Similarly, here in this, I can write dentist first and last programmer. No problem. Farmer here. So just naming the things, we say it is nominal. So nominal attributes simply the names of the attribute. When we say binary, that means the variable is allowed to have two values. Okay. In Boolean algebra, we have one variable can have true or false. Similarly, 0 or 1. So two state we define. Now two state 0 and 1. Now to what we assigning 0 value and to what we assigning 1. So normally we can use anything as 0 or other thing as 1. But here the assignments is not does not give any this kind of freedom of changeability. For example, here gender. If I represent gender male as 1, female as 0, or 0 for male and 1 for female, it doesn't make any kind of difference in the presentation. Okay. And similarly, here I say gender is a symmetric binary. So such kind of changeability, then so when both outcomes are equally important, I say that it is a symmetric binary. Similarly, if outcomes are not equally important, one outcome is more important than the other one. So generally, what is the practice? The more important output we use or we represent by 1, and less important generally we use by represented by 0. So in medical test, positive and negative. So positive notation is used basically the disease is here or patient has so infected by so and so disease. Okay, so one is most important outcome. For example, if somebody say HIV positive and HIV negative, so positive means having the disease. It has a lot of meaningful. Okay, so this is the convention here. So such kind of variable we say asymmetric. So in binary we are symmetric and asymmetric. Then ordinal, when the order is important, that means if I say values have meaningful order ranking, but the magnitude between successive values is not known. For example, I say grade of student in examination. Now A plus A, B, C, D. So here A plus is referring highest. A is lower than A plus, then B is lower than A. So in decreasing order, but I don't know what is A plus. It is 80%, 90%, and how much A 70% or 60, how much B 50 or 40. But it is certain that it has lesser weight. Okay, so such kind of representation we have order. Here size. So here size attribute is ordinal and it has value small, medium, and large. So it is in increasing order. So we cannot interchange the position. Okay, so order is important. Similarly, in rank in army, so there is a hierarchy. So such kind of value or representation we call ordinal. Then one more type we have quantitative, that is for quantity. So numeric or quantitative attribute types, we use the quantity to represent, and it can be integer or real value. And we have two types here. One is the interval scale and ratio scale variable. Okay. So interval scale means when the values are scaled on regular interval. For example, you see here in this thermometer, 35, 36, then 37, then 38. 1 degree centigrade temperature, we have separation. Okay, 1 degree temperature interval, and again 1 degree is further divided into 10 parts. So whole scale is divided into equal parts. So such kind of division is there. Then we say interval scale variable. Okay? Or interval scale representation, or variable is equally scaled on intervals. Here scaling is done on equal interval on 1 degree centigrade with 10 divisions of each. Now interval scale variables have an order of values and the ability to quantify the difference between each other. Okay. Interval scale variables do not have true means real, well-defined 0 point. Now here I will explain what is true point or true 0 point or well-defined 0 point. If we talk about the centigrade temperature, when I say 30 to 40 degree and 50 to 60 degree, 10 degree difference. So when I say here, it is equally spaced, meaning is that when I say 1 degree difference is shown by here 35 to 36. Similar distance for 1 degree is also used here from 36 to 37. Similarly, same difference, same distance here on Yes, same scale is also used for 1 degree. So it is for 1 degree temperature equally scaled. 1 degree temperature has been shown on same scale. Okay, equal scale. So this interval scale, right? So this 56 to 35 to 36 and 37 to 38. It is equal interval or equal scale. Now, in this interval scale variable, this feature we have. First thing, it do not have true zero, that I will explain what it is. Celsius temperature interval 30 to 40 is equally scaled as 50 to 60, just like 35 to 36 and 37 to 38. However, 0 degree centigrade is not true point in Celsius temperature. If you have knowledge of centigrade, Fahrenheit, and Kelvin temperature, so at 0 centigrade, we have the water is frozen. But before zero, we also have valid temperatures -1, -2, -3 degree centigrade, -10 degree centigrade. So such kind of definition, we say zero is not well defined. But you see the definition of zero is somewhat different. When we say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they are the numbers. And these numbers are called natural numbers. Natural number means the numbers exist in nature. When I say one student, two student, three student, one apple, two apple, three apple, so it has physical existence in nature. So all these countings, they have physical existence in nature, and we call natural number. But when we say before one, zero, now when we say zero apple, what about its existence in nature? Physically, zero apple is existing, or it is one concept about non-existence. Okay, so the argument can be of both kinds. Somebody can argue it based on the assumption, because so and so kind of way of existence, so one can assume that zero is also one natural number. Somebody will argue that because it is not existing, I cannot accept it as natural number. Okay. So when we say zero, zero is well defined, and zero says does not exist something. But here, when we have negative existence also, then we say it is not well defined. But the same definition in Kelvin temperature is available. 0 degree K, some kind of definition we have, so and so kind of kinetic velocity should be zero, etc. And before 0 degree Kelvin, there is no other temperature existing, -1 degree Kelvin. Such kind of existence is not there. So such issues, we say true zero exist or not. So if true 0 point is also there, okay, then we modify definition and we consider it as ratio scale. We will see in next slide. So other example can be like equal size $40,000 to 60,000, 60 to 80, and 80 to 1 lakh. So 20,000 interval here we have. Now ratio scale is defined. A ratio scale, a ratio variable or ratio scale variable has all properties of the interval variable and also have clear definition of 0 point. Only here valid 0 point definition exists. And several examples of ratio scale: enzyme activity, dose amount, reaction state, flow rate, concentration, pulse, weight, length, temperature in Kelvin, length, count, monetary quantity, etc. So many things they are ratio scale. Okay. Ratio scale variable have has inherent 0 point. We can speak of values as being an order of magnitude larger than the unit of measurement. So here we have order and then valid 0 point. Okay. And magnitude is also equally scaled. So here 10 degree K is twice high as 5 degree K. So in Kelvin, this definition plus 0 point. Now some characteristic of this ratio scale are given here. Ratio scale has an absolute zero characteristic. It has order and equally distance value between units. Okay. The 0 point characteristic makes it relevant or meaningful to say one object has twice the length of the other or is twice as long as the first one. Ratio scale does not have any negative number, unlike interval scale, because the absolute 0 or 0 point characteristic. Ratio scale provides unique possibilities for statistical analysis. In this scale, variables can be systematically added, subtracted, multiplied, and divided in ratio. All statistical analysis, including mean, mode, and median, can be calculated using it. Ratio scale has units which have several unique and useful properties. One of them is they allow unit conversion. Take an example of calculation of energy flow. Several units of energy occur like joules, gram, calories, kilogram, calories. British thermal units. Still more units of energy per unit power exist: kilocalorie per day, liter of oxygen per hour, years, and watts. It should be by EAR, I don't know. ERG. Then this one diagram is PG for easy understanding. It is shown. It has absolute zero characteristic. Okay. Ratio scale have no negative numerical value, and so operation can be defined, and several kind of units can be used. So it is just one diagram. Now this table provides you the features. Every attribute or every variable that is named nominal, it will be, so there is no issue. Okay. So counts, mode, say they are the nominal, and ordinal if we have order. So ordinal, we have order of value. A mode, median, all these are possible or not. So here for ratio 0 to 0, but for others 2 0 is not here. Multiply and divide can be done here. Addition, subtraction is possible here in interval scale. Okay, can quantify the difference between each value. So you see here, this ratio scale has more features, maximum features, and this interval scale has all the features except true 0 and multiply divide are not possible in interval scale. This is one table given by some Stephen scientist or mathematician. So in this table it is written type of attributes, then description, examples, operations, transformation, and comment. So nominal attribute nominal attribute values, only we have distinction, or we can distinguish whether this is the same or not. Like example, zip code, employee ID number. Okay, these kind of operations are permitted. Mode, entropy, contingency, correlation. Then transformation, one-to-one mapping only. If all ID numbers are reassigned, it will not pick any. Suppose there are 28 MTech first year student and their roll number are so and so. If I modify the roll number by adding 10 values in each roll number, so meaning still remains same, because the purpose of roll number is to make to differentiate each student individually, and because I have assigned a different roll number again by just changing or addition of 10. So similarly, ordinal attribute, we can have some order greater than less than. Example is given good, better, best, and these operations are permitted. And order preserving change. Okay, so if I change by function, so order should not change. Okay, if value is changed, then suppose in grading, suppose earlier B grade was 40%. Now I want to make it 50%. But so you can make it 50%, but it should be at the third position after A plus A and B. That means A plus should have more value and C has lesser value than B. So that property should be preserved even though if we change it. Okay. An attribute encompassing the notion of good, better, and best can be represented by 1, 2, 3, good, better, best. I can also use this notation 0.5, 1, and 10. Good, 0.5, better 1, and 10 for best. So again, it doesn't make any difference because order is preserved. So in ordinal, order is important, and interval scale, same thing that I have already explained. You can read it later. Okay? I'm not going to do it. Now, one more thing. It's a discrete attribute and continuous attribute. It is simple to understand, so I am not going to discuss here. Now I come back to the slide that I'm saying, this slide. This slide gives you the complete picture, whatever we have made the discussion. Variables, I can have to describe characteristic of data. One, I can have qualitative or non-metric. Okay. Nominal, simply they are names. We can make several different categories by using this nominal. Ordinal, so different category. That means ordinal will be nominal automatically, but it has order also. So rank order. So something is added here. Rank is order is added here. Now interval scale you see here. So nominal feature is there. Rank is also there. That means order is also there, and size difference equal interval is included. And here you see the ratio scale. Different. This is nominal feature is there. Ordinal feature is there. Interval scale feature is there, and one more thing, well-defined 0 point, it is not written here, and ratio. Okay. Ratio scale. So multiplication and division will also be carried out here. So you see here, we are going to add some information from this nominal to ratio. So I stop here, and same thing is written here, that is also mentioned here. Interval. Okay. So now I stop, and the rest we shall discuss in the next class. Thank you.